Happy Tuesday and welcome to another edition of Africa Good Morning. We will be broadcasting the news-making headlines. Now this morning we have a jam-packed show for you. We speak about tech with Manfred Engling, Director of Quickon Namibia. We also have Masego Mohwasa, who's bringing us news from Botswana. That and more coming up right here on Africa Good Morning. Good morning, Glenora.
Good morning, Aina. Now, Aina, do you know that I won a coloring competition when I was 6 or 7?
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Something I'm very proud of. Now, today is Coloring Book Day. A box of new crayons. Now, they're all pointy, lined up in order, bright and perfect. Soon, there'll be a bunch of ground down, rounded, indistinguishable stumps, missing their wrappers and smudged with other colors. Sometimes life seems unbearably tragic. Let's take a look at this day. Today is Coloring Book Day.
In our top stories this morning, Madagascar hunts gang that killed 32 in burning homes. Madagascar authorities on Sunday were on the hunt for a gang of cattle rustlers that killed at least 32 people by setting homes on fire in a village in North Antananarivo. Army helicopters have been deployed to locate the suspect and help ground troops searching the Ankozobe area, about 75 kilometers north of the capital, the Defense Ministry said in a Facebook statement. Now, the perpetrators must be found and punished according to the law, President Adri Jolina said in a social media statement describing the killings as a massacre. The Malagasy army is in charge of rescuing the local population and hunting down the outlaws. Police said 32 people were killed and 3 injured as the gang of about 12 bandits attacked the village in Abolokata Keri in Ankozobe on Friday.
In our next story, more than 80 in court following gang rape in South Africa. Now, some 82 people are appearing in a South African court on Monday on suspicion of illegal mining, attempted murder, and possession of explosives and contravening immigration laws. Police have said the suspects, most of whom are illegal miners, may also be linked to the gang rape of 8 women who were part of a crew filming a music video. That incident occurred on Thursday in Krugersdorp, west of Johannesburg. Another group of 12 women and 10 men said they were attacked while filming a music video at a mine dump. The 8 women who were gang raped were aged between 19 and 37. One of the victims, who spoke to a local newspaper, alleged that the group of illegal miners wearing blankets and masks approached them and fired gunshots in the air. Another victim said one of the elderly suspects then ordered the younger boys to rape the women before robbing them of their belongings. The incident has shocked South Africa and has sparked renewed calls for chemical castration of convicted rapists.
UN peacekeepers opened fire in DR Congo, causing several casualties. At least 2 people have been killed and 15 wounded when members of the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo opened fire at a border post in the country's eastern region, according to the Congolese government. The incident took place on Sunday in the DRC's Beni territory as the troops of MONUSCO Intervention Brigade crossed into the country from Uganda. Video of the incident shared on social media showed men, at least one in police uniform and another in army uniform, advancing towards the immobilized UN convoy behind a closed barrier in Kasindi. After a verbal exchange, the peacekeepers appeared to open fire before opening the gate, driving on and continuing to shoot while people scattered and hid.
Bankrupt Sri Lanka seeks urgent help to feed children. Now, Sri Lanka issued an urgent appeal on Monday to tackle rapidly spreading malnutrition among children as its economic crisis leaves 9 out of 10 people dependent on state handouts. The Ministry for Women and Child Affairs said they were seeking private donations to feed possibly several 100,000 children wasting due to insufficient funds. The bankrupt state, grappling with Sri Lanka's worst economic crisis since independence, was unable to sustain welfare. Secretary Neil Bandara Hapupine told reporters in Colombo said they had counted 127,000 malnourished children among the 570,000 girls and boys below the age of 5 in mid-2021. Since then, he estimated the numbers have increased several-fold with the full impact of rampant inflation and dire shortages of food and other essentials. Now, he said the number of people receiving direct state handouts has almost doubled in the past year, with over 90% of the population now relying on the government for financial help. Hapufine said this included about 1.6 million government employees. Now, Sri Lanka's inflation was officially measured at 60.8% in July, but private economists say it is well over 100% and second only to Zimbabwe. Now, UNICEF has also issued an appeal for funding, saying that children in Sri Lanka were disproportionately affected by the severe economic crisis. The country ran out of foreign exchange to finance even essential imports late last year, and Colombo defaulted on its 51 billion foreign debt in mid-April. Now, under embattled new President Ranil Wickremesinghe, the government is now in bailout talks with the International Monetary Fund.
Senegal ruling party claims a legislative poll win. The ruling coalition of President Macky Sall in Senegal has claimed a victory in the country's parliamentary election. Now, the former Prime Minister Aminata Touré said on television that the coalition had won 30 of the country's 45 administrative departments, giving it a slim parliamentary majority. However, the leader of the main opposition coalition, the mayor of the capital, Dakar, has contested the claims. Barthélemy Diaz said it was not Ms. Touré's place to announce the election results. Now, the opposition wants to ensure that President Sall does not stand for a third presidential term. The constitution sets a limit of 2 terms, but Master Sall has refused to rule out running for a third term. We'll be right back with more news after the break from Mozambique. Stay with us.
Flex is your health and fitness show that focuses on the health of the mind, body and spirit. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na.
Thank you for staying with Africa. Good morning. In our next story, elephant herd distress houses barns in Machasa district, Lusa. The 50 elephants that invaded Machasa district last week destroyed 15 precariously built houses and their barns in Manica province in central Mozambique, an official source told Lusa on Friday. Now, the authorities warned about the presence of the 50 elephants in Machase on 22 July suspecting that they had escaped from a conservation area in Zimbabwe, Mozambique's neighbor. Now, she said the destroyed houses were made of adobe and straw, typical construction elements in rural Mozambique. Elephants and other animals invade communities in that district, frequently destroying crop areas. Now, according to authorities, Machase is in the list of districts that most register cases of conflict between men and animals in Manica, central Mozambique. Now, according to the most recent official data from 2020, a total of 97 Mozambicans were killed and 66 were injured in recorded attacks alone. Others are not reported by wild animals, mostly by crocodiles, according to the National Administration of Conservation Areas. In the same year, 258 domestic animals, including sheep, goats, were eaten by lions, hyenas, and crocodiles, and 248.81 hectares of various crops were destroyed.
Women candidates in Kenyan election enjoy abuse and attacks. Liz Njue, a Kenyan psychologist who wanted to stand for a county assembly seat, had just arrived to vote in her party primary when opponents attacked her, pulling her hair and tearing her blouse. She fled without casting her ballot and lost the race. Liz is one of the dozens of female candidates who have been physically assaulted during campaigning for presidential, legislative and local elections on the 9th of August, according to the Kenyan Women Parliamentary Associations. Such a violence deter all but the most determined women from contesting, said Mercy Mwangi, the association's program coordinator, adding that most cases go unreported. People are saying we want women in politics, so we want more women to get these political seats, but how are they going to get them if they are humiliated, said the 39-year-old Liz. She reported her attack to the police but said there had been no arrest. Police spokesperson Bruno Siho said Liz's case remains open and active.
Still in Kenya, Kenya won't block Facebook ahead of polls. The Kenyan government won't be shutting down Facebook despite threats by the National Cohesion Agency to suspend it. The National Integration and Cohesion Commission last week said it had written to Meta, the company that owns Facebook, demanding a response to allegations of weak controls in moderating content on its platform ahead of next month's elections. It threatened to suspend the company's operations if it did not comply within 7 days with a requirement to control the spread of hate speech in the country. But the ICT minister questioned the legal framework the NCIC was using to recommend Facebook suspension. They should have consulted widely because they don't have the power to shut down anybody down. They don't license anybody. Joe Mucheru is quoted by the Reuters news agency as saying. Now, Interior Minister Fred Matayengi separately said the Kenyan government did not plan to clamp down on social media and distance itself from the statement by NCIC. A report by advocacy groups Global Witness and Foxglove last week found Facebook to have approved adverts promoting hate speech and incitement ahead of the elections. Now, Facebook responded by saying it had enhanced controls on their platforms to make it easy to identify and remove content that could lead to election-related violence. It acknowledged that despite the efforts, there will be examples of things we miss or we take down in error, as both machines and people make mistakes. That's why we have teams closely monitoring the situation and addressing these errors as quickly as possible, a Meta spokesperson said.
Succulents are at risk of extinctions due to climate change. Climate change and collectors of rare plants are disseminating succulents in South Africa, government researchers have said, warning hundreds of these rugged species are at risk of extinction. Succulents growing in the country's semi-arid region are experiencing unprecedented rates of decline following a rapid rise in global demand for collectible plants driven by Asia, according to South African National Biodiversity Institute, a government research body said. Over the past 3 years, plant materials confiscated from plant traffickers by law enforcement agencies had increased annually by over 250%, Sanbi said in a statement on Wednesday. It is said more than 200 succulents, typically thick, fleshy plants that retain water to survive dry weather conditions, have been added to an International Union for Conservation for Nature Red List of threatened species, which was updated last week.
UN pays tribute to peacekeepers killed in DR Congo. A tribute ceremony for 4 UN peacekeepers killed during an anti-UN protest in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is ongoing at a base in the city of Goma. The UN Under-Secretary General for Peace Operations Jean-Pierre Lacroix is attending the ceremony. Now, a tribute is also being paid to another peacekeeper who died in the country while fighting the M23 rebel group. They all had worked for UN peacekeeping mission MONUSCO for less than 6 months. They include Moroccans and Indian nationals. Now, the ceremony comes a day after UN peacekeepers opened fire and killed 2 residents in Kasindi, a town that borders Uganda. Now, the DR Congo government says 15 other people were injured in Sunday's deadly incident.
All right, those have been our stories. After the break, we talk about tech with Manfred Ingling.
The Evening Review is a daily interview-based talk show that dissects and expounds on current affairs as they occur in Namibia. The show aims at reaching Namibians of all age groups who seek better understanding of the state of current affairs in the country. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Namibian Sun and Namibia Media Holdings. The Evening Review focuses on interviews, latest news, and up-to-the-minute current events. Contact evening@synergy.com.na. Evening Review, unpacking today's pertinent issues.
Thank you for staying with Africa. Good morning. Now, it is estimated by the end of 2022, 495 million people will be subscribed to mobile services in sub-Saharan Africa, some 46% of the region's population. As of 2020, statistics reported that 620 million people lived within 25 kilometers range of a fiber optic network node. Now, Manfred Ingling, Managing Director of QCon Namibia, gives more insight. Let's take a look.
The global corporations are investing billions in new satellite constellations, with projects in advanced stages from the likes of Amazon, SpaceX, China Space, and OneWeb. Compared with mainstream fiber and mobile telecommunications, the satellite industry is a niche, specialized market which until recently was only used for government, broadcast, and other limited telco requirements. Here to share more information about a satellite broadband and its place in the connectivity mix is Manfred Ingling, Managing Director of QCon Namibia. Good morning, sir, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Please tell us about the 2B Smart Satellite Services.
Thank you. Through our mobile devices with Wi-Fi routers, we know about 4G, LTE, 5G, even in this country, 3G. We also know about the fiber that connects offices and homes, and it's a huge advantage for the people in towns, but keeping in mind that there are lots of people outside the towns and a lot of people without any internet or any connectivity. Never mind if it's a phone or internet, they got actually still nothing.
All right.
So what we do, there will be a satellite broadband. Satellite offers a rapid connection, where the terrestrial network services are not yet available, or the possibility downtime and disruption to the connectivity could have a negative impact on the business. like a store not being able to do a payment
Yeah.
via your credit card because of no connectivity, no internet. And this is actually, for a lot of people, especially when you come from a lodge or you're leaving a lodge and you want to pay, you need a lot of cash in your pocket. And that's also a challenge nowadays. So what we do, you can swipe.
Okay.
So that is over the VSAT satellite broadband, and it's a huge advantage.
All right, let's get into some more benefits of using the satellite broadband for businesses in Africa at large.
Yeah. So satellite is actually something we can say. The to be, what does to be mean? It's to be or not to be. It comes from Shakespeare Hamlet.
Yeah.
It's actually you are connected or you're not connected.
I
So
love that.
yes, and with to be, you're always connected. So that gives you a huge advantage for connectivity. So, which means it's reliable. It's always there. It doesn't matter where you are. We had customers calling and say, we need a VSAT or we need a broadband solution. Can it do it? I said, yeah, obviously it can do it. So it was connected and they never phone again. It's working. So it's actually what we provide to customers, especially outside in the area where there's no connectivity. So then what we do also is the speed of broadband. Early days, satellite was well known that it is a slow device, latency is there, that's all gone. So it actually today it can well compete, not with fiber which moves in a speed, but the latency, if it's actually minimized to 25% of what it was previously. So it's quite an advantage to have satellite today.
Yeah.
And we say satellite, in the early days it was just for government health departments and so. Lately it is for everybody available. It's a phone call and we can install actually the next day.
Oh wow, that's interesting to know. How is it being deployed in Namibia and other African countries?
Yeah.
Where, what are you guys doing to make sure that those who do not have connectivity can be connected?
Okay, so first of all, we got a office, we got a store room. We keep a lot of equipment in Namibia. What we do, we connect to ITC companies. We give a lot of people the opportunity to install it, maintain it, install or add Wi-Fi to it, and the IT companies can grow with that. So we only provide the service once it is up. Like on your mobile, you get a monthly fee that you have to pay for connectivity. That is what we charge you monthly. And installation, Wi-Fi, or any value adds, if you want to do point of sale, or you want to add videos, or you want to use VSAT for redundancy. So if you're scared your fiber goes down and you've got no connectivity, you can come and we connect the satellite. So we have that, and then we also, what we install is a modem and a router. The router will connect to our NOC, Network Operating Center. So if you've got a problem, you can easily just, we give you a in-country number, which is free of any fees. You can call, and we advise and help you to solve the problem. First level of support is over the telephone. If you cannot come right, or the customer said it's a bigger problem, then we can send somebody. So that is what we do currently.
Now, connectivity is such a huge problem, especially in rural areas.
Yes.
Tell us more about your work in rural areas around the country.
Yes, I actually got a very nice example up at the Kunene River mouth. The UN started a project which was supported by NAST and by NEP. And what we're doing there is we monitor the movement of animals. So it's quite intense what they're doing. There's a gentleman or two on site which capture the data. There's a satellite, and the satellite transmits the data to Windhoek.
Oh, wow.
So, and now you will come and ask me the question, but there's no infrastructure, there is no power, there is nothing. So even what we did for that installation, we provided solar panels, power, and the gentleman who installed all that, he stays in Ongwediva. We sent him the equipment by courier, and then he took his 4x4 and went up to the Kunene and installed. You don't hear about him for 2 days. And then I asked Bradley what's going on. He said, Manfred, it's all done. It's working.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, awesome is the right word. And I mean, they were even so impressed because now he can charge his telephone at the office.
Oh, wow. That's really nice.
Yeah. So, and that is actually what we want to do more and more. We got the skills, we got the equipment, and I can only tell you that the satellite is here to stay.
Yes.
Yes.
I absolutely love that. Now, thank you so very much, Mr. Manfred, for joining us on Africa Good Morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, this has been Mr. Manfred Engling, Managing Director of QCon Namibia, talking to us about the Twibi Smart Satellite Service that can help you get connected everywhere you are in the world. Connectivity is very important. That is why right now we are crossing over to Botswana, where Masego Mokwasa has stories on the ground. Now, in her first story, Minister of Finance discusses strategy to cushion Botswana from high inflation. Masego, how are you? And please tell us about this.
Good morning to you in studio, and good morning, Africa. The Minister of Finance, Honorable Peggy Oserame, has discussed cushioning the impact of rising inflation in households and the economy. This included of VAT on consumer products from 14% to 12% over the next 6 months, beginning 1st August. Cooking oil and liquid gas to become zero rated for VAT purposes. And last but not least, that the 18.5% increment of student living allowance was announced by the Finance Minister. Chairperson of the Interim Committee of the Student Union, Akim Khalid, said last week that they are happy with the developments, although the government did not meet their demand for 30% of the students' allowance increment. He said that this was a step in the right direction, although it will not be the end of the road in their quest for a higher percentage. Botswana in general have taken to social media to complain that some of these measures will not trickle down to every Motswana and might not be beneficial in the larger scheme of things. We're interested to see how it is. But as of yesterday, amenities such as electricity and so on and so forth have gone down to 12%.
Oh, that sounds like good news. In your next story, unemployment rate continues to swell due to COVID-19. Can you tell us more?
Yes, Botswana's President, Mokgweetsi Masisi, said the COVID-19 pandemic has led to rising figures in unemployment, 26% in the fourth quarter of 2021 from up to 22% in the fourth quarter of the previous year. This is the first time President Masisi has shared statistics on how the COVID-19 pandemic has contributed to job losses. When addressing the U.S. Africa Business Summit in Morocco last week, Masisi said COVID-19 has had a dramatic impact on economic growth in Botswana, very appeasing to a lot of young people in Botswana who are struggling to find employment. More so now that inflation has really affected a lot of SMEs and a lot of people who are trying to create employment for themselves. So we're interested to see if the president has any plans in specific to directly help the people of Botswana.
All right, now we understand there is a lack of confidence in journalists. How so?
Yes, people like you and I are in trouble here in Botswana. Registering of journalists is set to help boost declining public confidence. The chairperson of the Botswana Editors Forum, Spencer Mokgapi, says registering of journalists, which will follow the emphasized establishment of the Media Practitioners Association, will help deal with the declining public trust on the local media fraternity. In an interview last week, Mokgapi acknowledged that although registering journalists the world over is not always easy, he is of the view that it will help get the right people in the profession. This comes after the Media Practitioners Association bill was tabled by Minister President Okabo Moraeng in Parliament last week.
All right, Masego, thank you very much for bringing us these stories from Botswana.
Thank you very much for having me today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
We will definitely enjoy the rest of our day. Coming up next right here on Africa Good Morning is weather predictions.
This is still Africa Good Morning, bringing you the latest pertinent news stories. In our next story, the Omuthia Festival and Career Fair, which successfully launched on 29th July and ended on 31 July. Now, the event is organized by the Omuthia Town Council and Latangi Investment. It brought together 125 exhibitors, among them SMEs, corporates, and educational institutions. Now, the event is aimed at boosting the local economy and promoting Omuthia Town. The mayor of the Omuthia Town, Johannes Deutapo, welcomed attendees and exhibitors, while Deputy Minister of Trade and Industrialization, Verno Sinabo, speaks about the impacts that COVID-19 has had on local businesses, as well as some of the ministry's interventions. Let's take a look at that.
We wholeheartedly welcome all of you to the heart of Oshikoto region. This event has come about and it has proven our longing for us to come together as a community to showcase our products and services, to promote our town, to indicate that somewhere in the middle of the Great Oshikoto, there's a place called Omuthia, the capital of the region. And we are happy. We are happy to come together and demonstrate, for starters, our unity, our willingness to host all Namibians, our willingness to host tourists and international guests in our beautiful town. Our town is the closest town to the biggest national park in our country, even in our region. So tourism is a key factor. And it's important that we continue to showcase our culture, our heritage, and our products, and invite the world to visit us. So, honorable ministers, Umthia is demonstrating that it's ready for investment. Umthia is demonstrating that it's ready to host. As we have this inaugural event, we will have many more to come, and it will grow from strength to strength. And the little facilities we have today will be better facilities next time.
Our presence here today demonstrates our government's full support for this event and indeed similar initiatives that are aimed at promoting economic activities in our country. Trade fairs and similar initiatives have always been platforms for the exchange of knowledge and an opportunity for business people to market their products and services, as well as to attract potential investors to the town of Umuthia. In today's knowledge-based society, information has become a decisive resource. The production and dissemination of information has become an important task in national economy. Currently, the world has opened up and every country is working hard to rebuild its economy post-COVID pandemic. That's why a lot of economic activities and events are themed around developing and promoting long-term resilience, partnerships through trade and investment. We might be all aware that COVID-19 pandemic, though devastating, created many opportunities in the pharmaceutical, medical equipment industry, food and logistics sectors. Like the rest of the world, Namibia's socio-economic welfare has also been greatly affected, specifically during the national lockdown period, which led to the closing of businesses as well as job and income losses. However, as a government, we offered stimulus packages to help relieve employees who lost their jobs and for businesses that might have closed or lost their income because of the pandemic. And those stimulus packages, schemes valued at around 85 million, comprised of various loans options to companies and individuals in collaboration with various government agencies and parastatals. These packages were aimed to protect the productive capacity of the economy by keeping companies and individuals afloat.
In our economic news this morning, we start off with a power play. Zimbabwean president in bid to block SA from taking over foreign electricity deals. Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa will visit Mozambique and Zambia in a bid to save the country's electricity import contracts that are being eyed by Eskom. Mnangagwa's trip comes at a time when South Africa, which is undergoing an electricity crisis, seek to replace Zimbabwe as an importer of electricity from Mozambique and Zambia. Zimbabwe's contracts with Mozambique's Electricidade de Mozambique and Zambia's ZESCOs were due to expire at the end of July. What makes the situation precarious for the renewal is that the country struggles to pay its monthly obligation of $6.3 million to ZESCO for the imported power. Sydney Gata, chairperson of Zimbabwe Electricity Supply Authority, warned that Zimbabwe will stand to lose heavily as these contracts are long-term and at a competitive price. Fears raised by Gata are that Eskom could sign longer deals with ZESCO and keep Zimbabwe out of the picture for many years to come. In 1995, Southern African Development Community member state formed the South African Power Pool, which is Africa's first formally advanced power pool.
In some rather interesting news, in Rwanda, drones are being used to boost pig breeding. Now in Rwanda, breeding pigs can be a headache for smallholders who often have to travel several kilometers to hire a male stud or collect pig semen. But a pilot project is changing things, delivering swine semen by drone to farm. Zipline, the company behind the project, has been operating it since the beginning of this year, working with RAB, the Rwandan Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board. Now, Isai Rugaribari is a pig breeder in Kayonza, eastern Rwanda. He welcomes the initiative, which also provides access to animal health products. What motivated me to use this drone-transported pig semen is that it is a good breed that will increase my production. With this method, I don't have to worry as much as before about the quality and the breed I've chosen, explains the farmer. Now, the ambition of this program is to increase livestock production to boost Rwanda's food self-sufficiency. Now, Ensiet Karambisi has been a pig breed for 11 years. Out of his 145 pigs, 82 were born thanks to drone seed deliveries. He says the method could also reduce the risk of transmissible diseases such as African swine fever.
In Tanzania, meat exports to Middle East hit a record high. Tanzania's exported a record 10,000 tons of meat to the Middle East in the first 6 months of this year. This offer prospects a reliable market there, as only 7,000 tons were exported during the whole of 2021. He revealed this during a regional meeting on meat production for the South African Development Community member state. The meeting discussed value addition to red meat from an indigenous livestock breed in the 16-nation SADC bloc. The opening up of the Middle East market for the meat from Tanzania followed recent moves to reach out of these markets. The meeting was organized by Inter-African Bureau for Animal Diseases, an organization under the African Union. Mastandaki did not reveal which country bought meat from Tanzania, but are likely to be those in the Gulf and the Arabian Peninsula. Due to prospects for reliable markets of meat from Tanzania abroad, efforts are underway to improve the animal productivity.
Emirates plan to reduce Nigeria service due to trapped revenue. Now, Dubai's Emirates plans to reduce flights to Nigeria this month due to troubles repatriating revenue from Africa's most populous nation, according to a letter sent to the government and seen by Reuters. Emirates plans to cut the number of flights to Lagos to 7 from 11 by mid-August, the letter said, adding it had $85 million stuck in the country as of July, a figure that had been rising by $10 million per month. Industry observers say more airlines could follow suit if the central bank, which restricts access to foreign currency to tackle a severe dollar shortage, did not address airline issues. Now, Emirates, in an email statement, said trouble repatriating funds was impacting its commercially viability in Nigeria and that efforts to solve the problem had been met with limited success. Now, Emirates did not comment directly on the letter and said it hoped to continue a full schedule.
All right, coming up next, let's have a look at our economic indicators.
Now, Australia is in the lead at the Commonwealth Games with 52 medals. This story and more in our sports package, brought to you by Ari Hohat.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with the Commonwealth Games. That is still the biggest focus on international sports, and it's taking place in Birmingham in England. At the moment, Australia doing the best. They've got 52 medals at the moment, 22 gold, and England is behind them, the host, 34 medals, 11 gold. South Africa in 9th position with 6 medals, of which 4 is gold, and Namibia in 23rd position with 1 bronze. That was in the women's marathon, with Johannes taking bronze in that race. So let's look at some of the results, or talk to some of the Namibian athletes as well, or listen to what they've said. Firstly, it is boxing. It is Jonas that is one of the favorites that is the light welterweight weight class, and he did well in the round of 16. He's through to the quarterfinals, and he will face their Scotland's Rhys Lynch, and that will be on Wednesday. But let's listen to what Jonas had to say after his bout.
What a win. So far, run us through the win. You are through to the quarterfinals of the competition. How was the fight for you?
It started us quite well. It was a test. It was an actual test. I was under the weather and I fought under the weather 3 rounds. I feel like my chest is open now and I can do everything in the best of my abilities. Okay. And I think the ball is going to go, that's for sure.
Sure. Okay, looking into the second round, it looked like the guy was coming in. But the third round, you managed to control the fight. What was going on in the second round?
The second round was actually my legs. So I could not move properly, so it was all about my legs. They were feeling tight, so I could not move as much as I could.
So far, you said the gold is coming home and you are 100% sure
of who? Another 100 on top of it.
Okay, thank you very much.
That is Jonas Junius, very confident that he will be in the medals and hopefully win gold for Namibia. Wednesday, a big fight for him against, like I said, Scotland's Rhys Lynch. Also in the swimming, it was Xander Skinner that did well in the 100 meters freestyle. He went through to the semi-final. Unfortunately, couldn't reach the final. Good time of 50.06 for him. Studying in the USA, lots of experience he's gaining there. And let's hear what he had to say after his race.
Alex, we have just come to the semi-finals. You just finished swimming, where you did your personal best. So far, run us through today. You had the heats where you qualified to the semis, and now on the semis, how was the race for you?
It was a bit of a roller coaster there, I would say, like emotion-wise. So got at the end of my race this morning, not sure if I was going to make it, so kind of standing right outside of the pool thinking, am I going to make it? Saw 16th, and my emotions immediately went up, got excited for the afternoon. Came back this afternoon, did my usual warm-up, was a lot more calm, was kind of calm and collected, rested, felt good. Sitting in the core room with people like Kyle Chalmers and Tom Dean, it's an absolute privilege for me watching Kyle Chalmers break the record, the Commonwealth Games record, knowing I was in the heat, I competed with them, so definitely one of the best moments of my life as an athlete.
No, but what does that mean? Does that encourage you to push yourself harder going forward, seeing as in the same heat that you were, the Commonwealth game record was broken?
Yes, this definitely pushes me, makes me realize there's so much more I can do personally in swimming, and just gives me a reason to work harder every day.
Okay, but looking at it that now the Commonwealth has, your participation at the Commonwealth Games came to an end today. Are there other plans you are looking forward to, and with Paris 2024 coming up, what schedule have you set up for yourself?
So right now I'm just going to go home for about 5-6 days, going to enjoy Namibia with my family, then back to America. Then I have a November World Cup in America actually. Short course goals in December, so it's kind of my short-term plan for right now for the next 6 months, and then work hard for Paris. I'm definitely excited to represent Namibia in Paris.
But in Paris, would you only be doing freestyle, or you want to qualify? For how many events do you want to qualify for?
I personally like to qualify for 4 events, 50, 100 and 200 freestyle, as well as 50-meter butterfly. It's definitely, my butterfly has been picking up, so I'm excited to race a little bit more different events now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's the talented Xander Skinner, and the experience will do him lots of good, and obviously still studying in the USA, and he will just get stronger in the swimming pool. Let's look at other result from yesterday with Namibia involved and also South Africa. That is the triathlon, the mixed team. Also a very exciting event also that is swimming and cycling and it's running as well. And it was England that won in the end, the mixed team relay, and they won in 1 hour 16 minutes and 40 seconds. In second place, Wales 46 seconds behind them, and Australia third, 49 seconds behind them. South Africa and Namibia also challenged, but South Africa in 8th position, 4 minutes 37 seconds behind the winners, and Namibia in 9th position, 13 minutes and 44 seconds behind the winners. Now continuing with cycling news, it was the Tour de Femme, the Tour de France for women that completed, and it was Annemiek van Vleuten of the Netherlands that came through as a winner. It was Marianne Vos that was leading most of the way, but in stage 8, in the last stage, it was van der Vleuten that won. She actually on the 7th stage already broke away and was the leader after the 7th stage. She won the Tour de Femme in a combined, with the over 3 minutes 48 seconds better than the second place Demi Foltering of the Netherlands. And in the third position it was Katarzyna Niewiadoma. She is from Poland. She was 6 minutes 35 seconds behind van Vleuten. It was unfortunately Marianne Vos that fell away in the end. On the 8th stage didn't do well. She finished in 26th position overall after leading after the 6th stage, 36 minutes and 56 seconds behind Annemiek van Vleuten, the winner of the Tour de Femme 2022. Let's close off with some golf news. Some tournaments that finished over the weekend. Women's circuit first. It was the Scottish Open that took place, and it was Japan's Ayaka Furuura. She's from Japan, 22 years old, 30th in the world. She won. That's her first LPGA Tour victory, and she came in with a very good last score of 62 minus 10 for a total of 21 under par. Selena Bourtier of France was second, minus 18. On the men's PGA, it was Tony Finau that won back-to-back. He won the previous weekend, now won this weekend as well, the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He won in a total of 26 under, followed by Patrick Cantley on 21 under par. So that's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
This is Africa Good Morning, and if you have just joined us, here are your news highlights. Madagascar hunts gang that killed 32 in burning homes. More than 80 in court following gang rape in South Africa. UN peacekeepers open fire in DR Congo, causing several casualties.
Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Africa Good Morning. We welcome your remarks regarding our show. You can post them on our Facebook and Twitter pages, that is at Africa Good Morning. Please do visit our website, which is called One Up To, for more content that you love to see. On that note, it's all our love, all our light. Happy Tuesday.